That's right. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You are watching Couples Academy's Ask the Experts. And I told you, as promised, we got our boy Jeff Witt here in the flesh. And we're here to answer your questions on tonight. So make sure you post it. We're excited because tomorrow morning we have 10 couples driving in, flying in on airplanes, buses, Pony Express, all the above. Is that a thing, Pony Express? That's mail, right? Pony Express is mail. Well, they're driving in on ponies. How about that? Because they're coming to the Last Chance weekend, and we're excited that this weekend is going to be powerful for them. So we want you to pray and send good vibes, because it's people who are really going through who need a breakthrough. And so maybe you're excited about the one coming up in December the 10th through the 12th. It's not too late to register. So just click the link in the description to find out more about that. Yeah, there it is. There's a lot coming up that we have been waiting to announce, but we had to get through this weekend first. So there's going to be some new things on the horizon that we want you to partake in. But tonight we're here talking about your questions. So we're going to jump right in with the first question from Sean. How can you talk about the affair with your spouse, the unfaithful, and not bring down their spirit? My husband is trying to forgive himself for the choice to be better for me and our family, but if I have a tough day, it brings him down, sad and back to hating himself for the decision. I know every day won't be great for me. So how do we get through those days when we're both trying to heal? I mean, the reality is, and you can weigh in after me, that sometimes it's difficult. I mean, just the conversation in itself is a painful conversation. It's not going to make you feel good. It's not going to make you jump up and skip and dance. It can be a draining, exhausting, emotionally intense conversation, because you're constantly talking about what someone has previously done. They feel shame, they feel guilt, they feel all types of things. So I don't know anybody who comes out feeling great in this stage. Now, I will say, as you go through the steps, the conversation about the affair is less emotionally taxing, because you're talking about the affair from a different perspective. You're talking about it through a different lens. And it's less about how could you and why did you and tell me more of the details. And it's more of how can we learn from what has happened and how can we now build a solid relationship moving forward. So it's all about the approach that really can impact how somebody receives it.
For me, I think at the end of the day, it's time. Just like he said, it's going to take time to get to those days where everything just feels better. I do not like the idea of, the guilt, because sometimes guilt can become an excuse. Like, yeah, you need to have that initial guilt, but if you're carrying that with you every single day, sometimes it becomes an excuse from doing the work on yourself that needs to be done in order to grow. Wouldn't you agree?
I mean, yeah, there's truth to that. For some, guilt is an excuse. But see, here's the deal. I heard somebody say something very powerful, that if you're struggling with shame and guilt, shame is you feel bad about yourself for what you've done. Guilt is I feel bad for you because of what I've done to you. Mm-hmm. So shame is a focus on myself. Guilt is a focus on the other person. Someone once said, the key is to graduate from shame into guilt, because if it's all about how I feel about me and I feel down and I feel bad because of me, then it becomes more of a self-centered approach, and it takes the focus off of what I've done to the other person. But when I can graduate from my own shame to the guilt of a person, now I'm focused on how can I help you heal and what can I do for you? And so now the conversation may be less painful because I'm not shell-shocked in shame every time you bring it up. I'm more concerned about what can I do for you, babe, and how can I come for you and how can I love on you? See the difference?
Yeah, one is a building conversation, the other one is a running conversation.
Yeah. And so this is why we say your individual recovery as well as your marital recovery is critical in the process. So think of it like this. You're in a relationship with your wife. All you do is focus on the relationship. Okay, so fine. We figured out how to have this great relationship. The relationship's great, but I'm still hurting and you're still hurting. Or maybe let's flip it. What some people do traditionally, well, you know what? Before I can talk about couple sessions, I need to talk about individual sessions. So I'm gonna go get a counselor, you go get a counselor, right? So now the focus is not on the marriage. So now the focus is on us individually. We both individually heal, but the marriage is still broken. This is why you have to do both at the same time.
Absolutely.
You got to do them simultaneously, because the marriage sessions or the couple sessions, that's the glue that binds you together, and your individual sessions allows you to heal individually because you are the lowest common denominator in your relationship. If I am a broken Hassani, I will always be a broken husband and a broken father. If I'm a healed Hassani, I will always be a healed husband and a healed father. So I need to work on me while simultaneously working on the relationship and building a healthy foundation so that we collectively move forward.
Makes sense. I mean, at the end of the day, there should never be a day you're not working on you. And, you know, it's one of those, I hate to use the cliche, but, you know, an ounce of prevention, if you start working on you now, every single day, pound of cure, right? An ounce of prevention beats a pound of cure.
Prevention. And thank you for saying that, because, you know, I was just talking to a couple today and I said, you know what? How come every time we talk is when you're in crisis? So you wait till things get hellified in your home before you reach out? Why not prevent? Why not prevent? Why do you always wait till, you know, there's blood and there's bruises, and I mean, literally? Why do you wait till papers are being filed? Like, why are you trying to do this on your own? And so I think some people hold up a clock or a watch and say, how long do we have to do this? How many sessions before we're fixed? I don't know.
I'm going to tell you, once I learned the power of the right coach, once I learned the power of the right coach, I have not gone through a day of my life without a coach. In some area, you know, it might be in spirituality in one moment, and it might be in my emotional health the other moment, in my body or in my money. But I have literally for the last 6 years had a coach in my life for something. And I actually don't know what I would do if I didn't have a coach. The last time I had a little gap in coaches, I was in panic, because not panic like I couldn't live my life, but I was like looking for the next adventure. Like, what am I going to do with my time now that I'm working on me? I had to go find something else. And the difference is a coach can help you shorten the gap from in your failure to your next success. And it can actually help you create success after success after success, because they've already done it. And that's one of the keys to finding a real good coach, someone who's already done it and done it well.
And can we have a frank conversation?
Sure.
Let's have the money conversation.
Sure.
Because every time Danielle and I chose to get a coach, we were never at the time in the position to get it when we decided to get one. It wasn't like we just had the money in the account to just pay for one, but we valued what we would get from that coach so much that we were willing to make an investment. Well, how can I make an investment with something I don't have? When the decision is made, it seems like God, his system in the universe will come into agreement with you, and the money will come. And people have done all types of things to get what they didn't have, but it ultimately worked in their favor. And I feel like throwing numbers out there to let you know the seriousness of how much we take coaching. I wish I could I don't know.
Well, look, they're already doing it. They're doing it in the worst way you can do it. And here's why. Every time those bills stack up, or you get that electric turn-off notice, or the getting ready to repo the car, somehow, some way, when you're back against the wall, you didn't really work any extra overtime or do anything really different, but somehow the money just arrives, right? You get into a jam at home in a relationship. For somehow, some way, you end up putting more extra because, okay, I'm gonna say this once. Energy flows where the attention goes.
Wait a minute. Wait. I need you to say that one more time slowly and then break it down. But before you do,
energy flows where the attention goes.
Okay, explain what that means.
Okay. So whatever you're focused on, whether it's positive or negative, you're going to put more energy into. So there are days that your kids could literally say the same thing that they've been saying every single day, but today you notice it. So now it gets on your nerves. And now you look like a jerk because that's where your attention went. Your boss was especially this particular type of jerk every single day, but today it really gets on your nerves because that's where your attention is. Today you always have the same situation, but today this one bill notice really got you set off, so you find a way. And so we're always finding a way because our attention gets placed on it. What coaches tend to do is help you focus that attention and keep the attention where it needs to be. And let's do it this way. We don't have to give them exact numbers, but
I don't mind giving numbers, but I just don't, I'm just saying.
Okay, so I had the chance to go through a program. And same program, we were working together. But I was hesitant, and people were telling me, "Oh man!" And this was the low-level program. It was like $3,000 a year or whatever. And I was like, "Oh man, I could just watch his videos online." That used to be both of our answers.
Yes.
And then I went through it. I decided finally at the end to just go for it, so I did it. Made a little progress. And then they pitched me and upsold me, and I'm like, man, he's trying to upsell me on this $15,000 program. And then a $25,000 program. When I committed to that $15,000 program, I had no idea that next year I was going to clear 7 figures. I wasn't even close. I mean, my projections were growing in that direction. But the things I learned in that particular program, and it wasn't like I saw some ad on TV. I'd already experienced these guys. I already knew they were the real deal. They had a helicopter and drove around in Lamborghinis. And I knew that they had real other existing businesses where they got the majority of their money from. And that coaching was kind of a side thing. And it was becoming more of a main thing for them. So because I knew how they had made their money, it made it easier to buy in. But I didn't know where I was going to get that money from. I said yes before I had a chance to explain it to my wife. Do you know what that's? You know what that's?
I know your wife. Okay. Yes, I do.
So anyway.
So you made a decision, and we're not suggesting you make a decision independent of your spouse. That's not what we're suggesting. Don't do that.
Bad move.
But you made a decision to invest in yourself and take some will call it gamble, but it was a calculated risk in a particular coach and his program because he had fruit, results, a track record, a system. He had visible proof that you could see, and you said, you know what, I want what you got, and I'm willing to invest to get what you have. I don't know how I'm going to get the money. I don't know. I don't have the resources for it, but you made the decision, and then things started to come into alignment, and boom. And as a result, you didn't know how you were going to hit 7 figures, but you did as a result of going through that system. Now, that wasn't the highest program. That was one of them along the way.
And then even more than that, one of the contributing factors, and this was key, to that huge growth in income, 2 of the guys that were in that class that could afford that class with me became my clients.
So you were part of a community.
Yeah, it was one big group going through the same course together. But everybody who was in that course played at a different level than the people I was normally playing with. And so it gave me a chance to level up my game and go into a different group of clientele. It was actually, that was the year I started signing up Fortune 500 companies as clients.
Didn't know how prior to that.
Yeah.
It was you, in essence, you submitted yourself to a coach and a system. And go back to the point, the moment you were without a coach, things were a little bit different.
It feels funny without a coach. So right now, most of my coaching is in body, right? I have 14-hour martial arts classes and 1 hour of physical coaching a day at the gym doing, workouts. I don't feel naked in the emotional, the spiritual, the other realms because right now my attention is on this, right? It's just when I don't have, someone who has what I want or been where I've been immediately in front of me, within a phone call, it's kind of like, hey.
So whether we're talking business and finance, whether we're talking physical, right, or whether we're talking relational, the point is, if you want something that you once had but don't have anymore, or want something that you've never had, you've got to find someone who can become a pathway for you to get there. And you got to want it so much that the money is irrelevant. Because if you get caught up in how much something is, you may lose out on the true value and worth of the experience that you go through. And the reason why you were able to hit 7 figures with your business coaching is because you had to become someone different.
Yep.
Right? You had to, and that's it's impossible. It would have been impossible for you to hit 7 figures operating and functioning as the person you were when you signed up. Absolutely. They, in essence, the key to any success is personal transformation.
Yeah, and even in my marriage, right? It would have been impossible for me to have gotten this far in my marriage if I was the same person I was when I entered. These rules that we're applying to our relationships can actually apply to every other aspect of our lives.
I'm sorry, I don't even know why we went in that direction, but sometimes, you're here. I felt it was necessary for us to get into a dialogue, and it was something that somebody needed to hear, because maybe you're on the fence and you're vacillating back and forth. Should I do it? Should I not? I was just talking to my wife, and we have a friend of ours, unfortunately, who's going through a divorce. We can't counsel our friends. We love our friends. We get, but it's impossible. Anyway, they're going through this divorce, and just the retainer, okay? The retainer. That means work isn't even done yet. You just got to put money down. Thousands of dollars just to retain the attorney.
Oh, of course. Especially if there's assets. The more assets, the more the attorney's going to cost.
Without a shadow of a doubt. And so I'm saying we rather come up with money we don't have to invest in something that's going to end indefinitely, permanently, forever, rather than take that money and invest in yourself and your relationship for an incredible return. Yeah. I just don't understand it. And so we here at Couples Academy, we are waging war on divorce. We are waging war on complacency. We are waging war on being stuck in the same patterns that you've always been stuck in, keeping you in the same relational trap that you've been in. We wage war. It's an intellectual war that we're waging, and that's why we do this show every evening, every morning, to give you what you need, to answer your questions and all of that.
Absolutely.
And the more we do this, I believe that we're going to ultimately win this war. All right, we got many questions. Sorry, guys. I don't have my glasses. Okay, I think this is a question. What do you do what do you do if they don't show any shame or guilt? It would have helped me a long time ago. Yeah. Well, the reality is everybody's journey and timing is different. And maybe we haven't found the source of his motivation that would cause a change and transformation within him. Maybe he's still stuck in obviously wrong thinking, wrong patterns, and wrong ways, and he hasn't opened up his heart and mind to receive the truth. Sometimes ego and pride and arrogance and all those things gets in the way of his ability to be able to transform. And at the end of the day, you can't force anybody to do what they're not going to do, period, point blank. You just can't do it. And this is why we say, if you take your eyes off of your partner and place them on yourself and work on you, the best way to get your partner to change is to change you, because when you change you, they now have to respond differently to you, thus changing them. It's an indirect influence on their change by you becoming the example, you becoming the beacon of light, you becoming the one who models what you want your partner to mirror. All right, let's go to the next one. How does the hurt partner heal when the unfaithful partner is trying to saturate themselves with you, but you can't receive what they are saying or doing because the hurt is too fresh?
Well, we hear this one a lot. This is that guilt, shame, thing again, right? So, how do you do it without help? Because at the end of the day, like the unfaithful partner is trying to saturate themselves. Of course, they're going to be trying to saturate themselves. They want forgiveness. They want restoration. They actually just want to move on, right? And the pain is there. The pain is too fresh. There has to be a process. There has to be a process in place of doing this. And I don't know any other way to do it than have someone talk to someone to be the mediator in that discussion, because she needs space to process everything, and he needs to give her space to deal with everything, but not too much, because then, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I just think that if we're in a relationship and I'm behind the wheel and I'm steering this car based upon where I think we need to go, you're going to have a problem with it. If you're driving the car and I'm in the passenger seat, I'm going to have a problem with it. And that's why you need somebody outside of yourself who's not biased with either one of you to steer it. And you have to put your trust in the process. We say that all the time. Trust the process. You got to trust the process. And guess what? Trusting the process means you're not always going to agree. You're not always going to like it. It's not always going to feel good. You're not always going to be comfortable. But if you trust the process, then you're trusting where that person is taking you and guiding you. There have been many times in the steps that we walk people through that we buck up against beliefs and traditions and ways of seeing things and preferences. And listen, there are people who are coming this weekend. Now, I'm going to tell you something. Right? There are people coming this weekend. There's two types of personalities. Some are like, go with the flow. Hey, I don't know what we're going to do, but whatever it is, I'm game, I'm open. Other people have to know everything, every dot, every tissue, like I've got to know everything from 1 hour to the next. So what we do intentionally, we accommodate both personalities. We create a general type of agenda so you have some sense, but there are some things we're just not going to tell you, and that's intentional because we're challenging you before you even get here.
They're not even ready for the experiential.
No clue, right? And so the reality is sometimes you got to get comfortable with being uncomfortable.
That's right.
And when you get comfortable with being uncomfortable, that's when change begins to happen. So the person who's hurt and the hurt is fresh, I get it, right? So maybe your spouse is trying to rush you through the process by saturating himself with you, and you're not ready for that yet. But if it were on your timetable, how long would both of you be waiting? For some of you, I need 2-3 years. And some people stay stuck in that for a long period of time. And you need somebody to push you out of your stuck place, to help you get unstuck, to let you know you've been in that too long. You've been meditating in that too long. You've been in your sorrow for too long. We're going to have to get you up out of this. That's why individual and couple sessions are critically important for your healing.
Son,
So,
do you know how lobsters grow?
no, Jeff.
Okay, so lobsters are a soft-bodied creature inside of a hard shell. That shell does not grow at all. So it grows a little bit, it starts to feel uncomfortable, and then it has to find a safe place under the rocks to get away from the predators. It casts off its shell and builds a new shell. And it goes through this process over and over and over again. And so you know that big lobster that you spent $200 on for dinner?
Right.
That lobster is a lobster that was uncomfortable a lot, had to pull himself away from the rest of the world for a little while, put himself in a safe place to shed the shell and to build a new one. That's the process we're talking about. So a lot of people want to sit in their uncomfort for years and years and years and years. No, find a safe place, cast off your shell, and build a new one that's going to give you some more space to grow. So when you bump up against it again, and planning for it is much better than having it be forced upon you.
Wow. Folks, can I rub some of that intellect off on me? Because, that's why I have him on the team, because, powerful. I hope that this is resonating with you and giving you what you need. I just want to go to Jewel. Jewel says, we have spent thousands on vacations thinking the time away would fix our marriage year after year. And guess what, folks? Didn't work. The last chance weekend was the best investment we ever made. Love, my boo. This is what I'm talking about. And Isn't that so true? Like people say, maybe we just need to get away. Let's go to the Bahamas. Let's go to Hawaii. Let's go to the Caribbean. Let's go, I don't know, to maybe the Middle East. Let's go to Dubai. Let's go to all these places thinking that magic is going to happen when we get there. But guess who you're taking with you? You. Your issues, your faults, your flaws, your baggage, your idiosyncrasies, your drama, your resentment, your rage, your frustration. You're bringing your issues to a wonderful location, and now you have a negative feeling about these vacation spots because it ain't all that. The food is not good. It's too hot. It's too cold.
I don't want to get on them too hard because the truth of the matter is they just did it in the wrong order. Work on the relationship in you first, then go on all the vacations, and they'll become wonderful.
Absolutely. So the last chance weekend was the best investment. Thank you so much because we can say it.
Because I remember them.
You remember them, right? Jewel and Gonzalez, are a memorable couple. We had an amazing time, and they're like family to us now. And that's the one thing about it. Like you do this experience.
She came in here ready to fight him.
Oh man!
And now she loves her boo.
Y'all better ask somebody. Let me tell you something. Sean, I know you're watching right now. You said, I wish I knew that there were other individuals who were going through what I was going through just to know that I'm not alone. There she is. And there's many others who are watching right now. Thank you for that. Okay. Are there other questions? I'm sorry, I'm doing this.
There too.
More comments than anything. Here's a question. Okay. How does someone quit shouting down when in a talk with spouse? How does someone quit shouting down when in a talk with spouse?
How do you stop them from shouting
how do you keep
down, or how do you quit being the person shouting down?
Well, one of the things, if I understand the question, we say this all the time. This is a communication principle. You want to embrace this. I was going to share it this weekend, but okay, I'll give it to you. And I've said it on the show before. Never share your feelings when you're in your feelings. That's right. Because when you share your feelings, when you're in your feelings, then your feelings, what are your feelings? Either rage, pain, anger, sadness, contempt, and anything you articulate in that moment, your message is going to be compromised because of the messaging in terms of how you come across. So there's got to be rules of engagement that you establish. And if your spouse is the one shouting, listen, babe, we've established rules. I want to engage in a conversation with you. This is obviously not the right time or the right place. I'm just gonna back out. I'm not leaving you. I'm not trying to stonewall you, but this is not healthy. Why don't we take a pause for an hour? How about we talk at the end of the night? How about we talk tomorrow? But this right here is not working. I love you. I'm out. Then you come back when emotions have subsided, and then you can engage in conversations in a healthier way. So it's just about establishing healthy rules for your communication. And the rules that you need for your relationship are going to be different than the rules for another relationship because everybody has a different stress and strain when it comes to communication. All right, here's another question. What about a man that doesn't think he needs therapy? He is an alcoholic, abusive, and cheater. We are separated, and I'm sure that's the end of this marriage. Unfortunately, there's too many of us who think, I don't need that. I think that there's such a negative stigma that's placed on counseling. That's why we're coaches, right? We do provide counseling, but we take a hybrid approach between counseling and coaching, which are different. They both have something that the other does not, but when you bring both into play, it's more of a comprehensive approach that gets results. Now, at the end of the day, there's, like I said, a stigma, and I think that stigma needs to be removed so that more people can be opened up to the process. Like every successful person I know, whether in sports, in business, physical, they all have coaches, people who guide them through a process. That's all it is. But some men and women think they know it all and don't need nobody, don't want to listen to anybody, and ultimately they're affected by that.
I don't need anybody. Show me your fruit. I don't need anyone. What is the results? What's your bank account look like? What's your marriage look like? If it's all empty, then you need someone, period. Because what you're doing isn't working. I mean, alcoholism, abusive, and a cheater. How much more failure do you have to go through before you realize you need help?
Yeah. Absolutely. Charmaine has a question. A good night. Why does a man go into the bathroom with his phone? Not just a man, women do too. Well, it's one of two reasons. Either, listen, I'm going to be in there a while, all right? And don't come in after me, all right? While I'm in there, since I don't have magazines because we're in a digital world, I'm gonna bring my phone because at least while I'm handling my business, I can scroll. I can look at the latest articles, read the sports column, something. I need something to occupy me as the toilet is being occupied. Then others, I need to. Let me handle this over there. And so I go away in secret, in stealth. I'm clandestine because I'm doing things I don't want my spouse to know about. I don't want them engaged in these conversations. I don't want them to, I don't want it to be revealed what I'm doing in secret. And so it's all motive and intent.
It's this. Now, if you got questions about this in particular, this device, this is a tool. In one man's hand, the knife is something that he's going to make a wonderful meal with. And in another man's hand, it's going to be something he does a lot of destruction in someone's life with. And so depending on who is in here is what this ends up becoming.
It was Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad who said something so powerful. He said that a grape can be used for medicinal purposes. A grape can be used for its nutritional value, but that same grape, given a certain spin and given a certain twist, can be used to do great harm. It's not what you use, it's how you use what you use and not where you get it from, but what you do with it once you get it. So to Jeff's point, anything can have a positive or negative application. It's all about the motive and the intent of the person. So I think it comes down to that. Now, if he has a track record of being secretive and being a liar, omitting truth, being clandestine, then this is a tool that will serve him to do what he's always done. And so in that case, this is a rhetorical question. You already know why he goes into the bathroom with his phone. He's going in there to do more of what he's always done. If he has no track record, maybe it's worthy of a conversation. Babe, how come every time you're in the bathroom, you got your phone with you, right? So I think that's where you should go in terms of trying to unpack certain things. We're going here. Okay, this one, okay. At Couples Academy, still waiting to know when your coaching mastery program will begin. What coaching mastery program are you talking about specifically? Because we have programs right now. Just clarify for me, because we have a few programs that are coming, but I'm not sure what you're referring to. I would love to answer that question. So if you can clarify that, that'll be great. Not a lot of questions tonight. I guess we've just been in a flow.
I guess so.
There's more comments than anything else. I hope you guys are getting something out of this.
Oh, training, like a trainer kind of thing.
Oh, yeah. Okay, very good. So yes, on our website, it does indicate that if you want to be a marriage coach, if you want to be a Couples Academy certified marriage coach or infidelity recovery specialist, we have a program. If that's you, we are launching that in the beginning of the year. That is right. We have actually started training people overseas, particularly on the continent of Africa. There's a strong demand for it there. But we are going to launch that along with a powerful, let me tell you something, Jeff, talk about the program that we're going to launch that we're really excited about.
So we have a program that we're going to be launching both in online format for groups of men, because we've noticed that they need the support. It's a lot of times when I get the men one-on-one, they need someone to talk to throughout the week. And so when they have each other to build off of and they have assignments that they can do as a team, that team thing actually comes in handy. So that's going to be the Foundry, and we're going to have events around that. And then we also have something coming, which I'm just going to tease you with. We're going to find out who's really made of steel. We're going to find out who the lions are and who the sheep are. And that's going to be the Forge.
Couple more questions, and then we're going to go. How do you let go of someone actions who hurt you and your marriage? Okay, so you're talking about forgiveness in essence. How do you let go? Because to forgive is to let go. It is to release. It is to move on. I would encourage you to get the book, The Audacity of Marriage, 10 Principles to Lifelong Partnership, because in there we talk about the 4 different types of forgiveness in the process and the pathway that you have to go through. Also, we have a coaching program, our Moving Forward program, and one of the modules is on the path to forgiveness. And oftentimes, to be quite honest with you, it's not just what you need to do, it's what you need to no longer do. Sometimes think about driving on a highway. You can go 70 miles, 80 miles an hour, whatever the case may be. If you drive through a neighborhood, maybe you're going like 25 to 30 miles an hour. If you're driving through a parking lot, right, you have to go about 10, 15, and there's speed bumps, right? There are speed bumps along the way. They're trying to get you to slow down. Well, oftentimes there are speed bumps in your way, obstacles in your way that have to be removed first to allow you to let go and forgive. Now, you may not be mindful or aware of what those speed bumps are. The process we take you through, we make you consciously aware of those unconscious speed bumps and those internal resistors within you that keep you from being able to forgive. And then once you are aware of it and you go through the process, that's how that ultimately happens. So it is a decision to forgive, but there's a process that comes along with it. Are there more questions?
It was a long one, and I believe it was from Charmaine, but it starts up here. And she was asking, this guy's been cheating on me. He goes,
this one right here?
This is the one from the phone. He's been cheating on her for years, and he goes in the bathroom. He says to play games. I just want to respond to that real quick.
Okay.
Ask him for his phone. If he doesn't give you his phone, you know what's going on. It's simple. Like, hey, listen, like my wife, she wants my phone. Half the time she's using it because she likes my camera better than she likes hers. I have no problems with it. Here, I don't have any questions of why she's looking at my phone. I don't care if she goes on my Facebook. I don't care if she goes on my history. You can look at someone's entire history from the phone. So ask him for his phone. You'll be done with that question. You'll know what you need to do from there.
Yeah, okay. Francisco says, how do you release past relationship pain that shadow the current one without talking to the exes? I'm trying to understand these questions. How do you release past relationship pains that shadow the current one without talking to the... Oh, okay.
Very similar situation.
Okay.
So you have pain from a past relationship, and you're trying to get rid of it. You're now in a current relationship, but you walked into this one with those bags that Erykah Badu used to talk about. You know? So you still have this pain, but you're trying to avoid talking to the old person in order to deal with that pain. Right? So that's an interesting question. What are your thoughts on that?
I think that you're coming tomorrow and we have 14 hours each day to unpack that in a comprehensive way. But if I'm understanding the question, because I mean, past pains, how do I not let that affect the current relationship?
And also, how do I deal with it without going back and dealing with the old person?
Yeah, you don't listen. See, when it comes to moving forward in a relationship, I don't know if there's an issue with closure. You didn't have closure from the past, so there's some open wounds that you haven't dealt with. But in your personal healing, it doesn't require that you have to have conversations with a past partner. In fact, if you're in a current relationship, it would probably be inappropriate to then reach out to a past partner, because now you're compromising your existing relationship. Your spouse is going to feel some type of way, and some things you just have to resolve within yourself. And when I say within yourself, not by yourself, but within yourself, and with the help of a counselor, they can help you begin to release and cut ties and let things go, and write letters to a past partner that you do not mail. Write letters to yourself that you do not mail. There's a process for this. So I want to understand that more comprehensively tomorrow.
I also want to just simply say that the person who gave you pain is not always required to be present for your personal healing. The process of a man and a wife, especially when there's children and assets and all that involved, there's a lot of needing to be together and deal with the pain. But the truth of the matter is, your personal pain does not require the person who caused you pain to be present in order for you to heal. In any situation. Sometimes it can help. Sometimes it can be a crutch. Your growth and how you come out of it is all on you.
Wow.
When we're talking about a relationship, a marriage, the reason why we're there is because there's two committed parties trying to work it out. But your personal growth is not dependent on someone else being there.
Wow. There it is, guys. That's our night. This was Hassani and Jeff in the flesh answering your questions. I hope that this was helpful. This is Thursday, so this is the last day of the week that we'll be doing this. Tomorrow is our last chance weekend. We will come on in the morning, I believe, to do a show. And then there's the weekend. So we ask that you give us your prayers, your support, your positive vibes so that people can get what they want. And remember, starting next week, we have another powerful series, and it is entitled How to Break the Cycle of Infidelity. That's what so many people have been asking for, and we are going to give you what it is that you need. But until then, enjoy the night. We'll see you in the morning for another great show. Take care.